She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Welcome to our home. This is my home office. Actually, it's more like a prayer room. But anyway, we are here today and we wanted to do an extension of the last two videos that we did, or shows that we did, about working on a project where that's challenging, like a very challenging project, and that you have lots of challenges and you have little to no experience. And so the teaching point that we've been using has been about our home. We've just built our dream home and paid cash for that dream home because we spent the last 27 years building businesses and the last 18 years living really, really frugal on purpose, not increasing our lifestyle when we increased our income, but keeping everything really, really well below our means. And so now we're in this incredible home, and if you haven't seen any of the videos on it or any of the shows that we produced right here from the house, you need to go see it. It's like really, really a spectacular thing. So this is point 3, and this is gonna be our final point. It's our final point concerning like working in a challenging project where you have little to no experience. Point 1 was about managing expectations. I went into depth on that on the 3 weeks ago. And then 2 was about communication, some really important tips concerning communication. But here's my final point. I was gonna give you 4, but I'm combining these 2. Number 1, don't freak out when things go wrong. Don't freak out when somebody drops the ball. Here's something that I'm going to tell you. This is so important. And I'm going to combine 3 and 4 together because 3 was about encouragement, which I did talk quite a bit about during the tip about communication. But that rather than freaking out when somebody doesn't follow through, you have to understand this, that you have to expect that people are not going to follow through. Here's also what's important. I want you to understand and discover the personality of the people that you're actually working with. You see, there's some personalities that are like super timely and really diligent and really organized, and they've got everything together. But that's not everybody that's working on your project. You have other people in your project that are super creative and they're free flowing, and they have to have free flow. They have to be able to move and groove and flow and turn and jump and whatever like that. There's some people on your team that are that way. Those 2 different personalities are complete opposites. And so when you are able to discover what the personality is of everyone that's on your team, whether the team is your family and the family's working on a project, or the team is at work, or it's at your church or at a charity that you volunteer for, discover what the personality is of the people that are on the team. If you do not have that understanding, you're creating stress for yourself big time. And you're creating stress for them because they're feeling like they're failing you all the time. And so this is where it's really important that when something doesn't happen, right? I'll give you a prime example. I left for a trip. There was something that was supposed to be done while I was gone. Didn't happen. Didn't happen at all. It's really easy to have your like guts get all like, okay? Really easy to do that. But at the end of the day, I had to say to myself, you know what? I probably should have followed up more. Listen, somebody gives you a deadline. I will have this to you on Monday by 3 o'clock. Awesome. What you need to do is you need to understand who said those words. Because there is 2 personalities that when they say that word, they really mean it. They really want to have it done by 3 o'clock. They desire to have it done by 3 o'clock. They are pointing themselves to have it done by 3 o'clock. But the likelihood of those particular 2 personalities of having it done by 3 o'clock on Monday is like next to nothing. The likelihood is it's probably not going to happen. So what you have to do when you understand their personality and you understand the intentions and their motives and all of that stuff, it helps you to understand that it's not going to be there at 3 o'clock on Monday. In fact, I probably should follow up the Thursday before and say, how's the project coming? I probably should even follow up on the Friday before and say, hey, are we closer to it? Is it really looking like Monday at 3 o'clock is still gonna happen? And maybe even follow up on Monday morning, like, hey, how's that going? Are you having any challenges? Has there been something that is standing in your way? Is there anything I can help you with? Let me tell you something. The people who have the greatest success are people who understand other people and how they operate, what their motives are, how they are motivated, and actually how to have grace with them. Again, expectations that meet the person. So if you're working with creatives, tend not to have the expectation that they're going to have it done, especially if you leave them alone. If you leave them alone to do it, and there's no follow through on your part with them, no check-ins with them, you can pretty well guarantee they ain't going to have it done. However, if they are that personality that's super detailed, super organized, everything is on a calendar, okay? They optimize their time. They have an understanding that you need to have a buffer. If you make a commitment to something and you say, I can have it by 3 o'clock on Monday, their real goal is actually the Wednesday before at noon. That's their real goal because they like to under promise and over deliver. So they don't say Monday at 3. They might say Monday at 3 to you, but their real goal is Wednesday at noon, and that's when they're actually going to give the deliverables, right? Because they understand buffers, they need a buffer of time. Why? Because stuff doesn't happen. Something doesn't get shipped. A car that got broke down on the way to delivering the item. A pipe that blew up. Do you understand what I'm saying? So these kind of things that happen that cause a project to not get done. And so the one who's super organized and detailed, they understand that. Therefore, they create a buffer for the just in case, natural disasters happen. And if the natural disaster doesn't happen, then I still look good because I delivered it 5 days early. So no matter what, it's a win-win. And so, but if the people you're working with do not have that personality, that they're more creative, well, they're going to give you the deadline Monday at 3 o'clock, and if they're of one particular personality, they're going to stay up all night every night through the weekend and just push, trying to get it done. So they got to get it done at 3, right? And they're going to stress themselves out, and that's what they're going to do. And so what I had to do when I came to that conclusion, and by the way, there's many points in building a home and building out projects that there's going to be stress, and that there's going to be people who drop balls, and there's going to be people who don't follow through, and there's going to be people that get distracted, especially in the construction field, especially in any field where there is any kind of creating that's going on, okay, which is, I don't know, it should be every business has some kind of creating that's going on. So anytime you're dealing with any kind of creation of something, you have to know that you have to follow up, and you have to follow it all the way through. It doesn't mean this, and I've seen this happen so many times, like, oh, well, no, but I sent them an email. That's not following up, fool. No, the email can get lost in cyberspace. The email, absolutely, and you would agree with this, gets lost with what? 100 other emails that they got that day. And if they didn't check yours, guess what? Tomorrow there's another 100 on top of the other 100 that came in the day before. So do you understand? So that's not following up, is not sending an email. Following up is making a personal connection with the person, live, with the voice of the person, through a text message. If you send a text and that text doesn't get answered, then you're picking up the phone and you're calling and saying, hey, listen, I don't know if you got my text. I just wanted to check in, see how's it going. Is there any challenges that you're having? I would love to check in with you to see if I can answer any questions. You got to follow it through, because if you do not keep your agenda in front of the person, somebody else is putting a different agenda in front of the person. So there's always urgent things that people need to take care of. If you want something to get done and you're dealing with a project that you have no experience in it, and you're wanting to make sure you produce a result, and you're wanting to get done in a timely fashion, and you're wanting it to be successful, then you want to learn the art of following up that will help you not freak out when something doesn't happen. So also on this point, do this. Own the responsibility you own of it. Own your part. Like I said, when something didn't get done, I was like, all right, well, that person just taught me that I needed tighter follow-up scheduling. That's it. What I just learned when I'm working with this person is I better keep the agenda in front of that person, not every 3 days, not once a week, but this person needs a daily check-in, needs a daily follow-through, needs a daily, hi, I'm here. Why? Because that person has 20 other people going, hi, I'm here, in front of them all the time. And so anyway, I hope that this is helpful for you. Stressing out and freaking out is a choice. And I spent too many years freaking out and stressing out over things, and it just robs your life. It makes you get old faster, I promise you. You can tell, right? Have you not ever seen an elderly woman who looks like she's been she's wearing life all over her? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can see it in the pain, you can see it in the scowl, you can see it in the frown, you can see it in the lines, you can see it in the very weathered look about her and or him. And yet there's also other people who are the same age that don't have that. Have you ever seen it? They've got peace on their face versus lines of despair. They've got joy that's exuding out of them, coming out of their eyes, coming out of their mouth. You can see it. There's just this pleasantry about them. And why? They've chosen to not freak out in projects where somebody drops a ball. And it could be a big one, and there could be big mistakes. Freaking out about it doesn't fix it, doesn't make it better, certainly doesn't help you solve the problem easier, but it stresses you and everybody else out. So don't freak out, but instead understand that everyone needs to be followed up with, and choose to understand the personality of the person so that they can, you know what they need so that the whole team can work really well together. I'm Dani Johnson. Thanks so much for joining us today. If this is your first time catching the Dani Johnson Show, I've got a gift for you. If you go to firststepstowealth.org, you're going to find a $15 book that if you pay the shipping, I'll pay for the book. This isn't one of those cheesy books that you've been seeing floating around all over the internet these days, like everybody's an author all of a sudden. No, First Steps to Wealth is being taught in universities all over the world and has been for several years. This particular book has helped people like a single mom of 3 children who was flat broke, who had no business experience. Through reading this book, started a little business right from her kitchen making truffles. Made $25,000 her first year, which, by the way, the average income in the country in which she lived is $600 a month. So this was a huge income. Now she's got 25 employees. She has generated tens of thousands of dollars. A single mom who was totally hopeless and left high and dry with nothing. No way to even feed her kids. So if that woman who was not educated and was not a business person could be a very successful business person today as a direct result of reading this book, then you can do the same thing. So go to firststepstowealth.com. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth right now. You pay the shipping to get it to your house, and I will certainly cover the cost of the book. And again, this isn't a cheesy book. This is a real book with real content, with real steps to help you to succeed greatly right now in what it is that you're already doing. So share today's video. We'd love to hear your comments on the bottom. And I'd love to see you live face-to-face one day at one of our live conferences. God bless you. Talk to you soon.